Hey guys, it is April from Getting a Go With It. Today I have part 2 of my April book haul for you. I've got quite a few thrillers here. I've got some historical fiction, some contemporary, and I'm really excited about all of them. So let's get into it. First up is The Perfect Nanny. This has an entirely different title in the UK, and I cannot remember what it's called. Is it Lullaby or Hush or something like that? But this is like all the rage right now. I believe that this is based on a true story, which is incredibly disturbing. This is about a couple who work full-time. They have big, huge careers in New York, and they are on the hunt for the perfect nanny. They finally find one, and the nanny is perfect until she murders their children. And we find out what happened. I believe this book starts out with the murder of the children, and we kind of work our way back and figure out why this happened at all. It sounds super disturbing, but also incredibly good. So very happy to have The Perfect Nanny on my shelves now. I also picked up One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I just finished reading The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I really liked it. I was sucked into that book. I couldn't put it down, and if the rest of her books are anything like that, I'm going to be happy to have all of them on my shelves. So this book follows a woman named Emma, and she marries her high school sweetheart, Jesse. Now Jesse is an assistant on nature documentaries, and on their first wedding anniversary he is sent to the Aleutian Islands, and his helicopter goes missing over the Pacific. And she spends many years mourning him. Years later, she is out with a friend and she sees Sam. And Sam is an old friend of hers. They start talking and then they start dating. And she's starting to like rebuild her life again, you know? And then she finds out that Jesse is actually alive. And what do you do in that situation? I really think that this is going to be a gripping story, and I'm very excited for it. Next up, I've got In the Vines by Shannon Kirk. I was kindly sent this by Amazon. This one is coming out on July 17th, and as soon as I read the blurb about this, I knew I had to read this. It sounds so disturbing and creepy and weird. I'm gonna read you the little blurb here. Mary Olivia Pentecost, known as Mop, was born into one of the wealthiest families in the country and one of the most guarded. Now, 2 years after her mother's mysterious death, Mop is seeking closure on the disquieting tragedy by returning to the New England seaside estate of her cloistered auntie Liv, once her closest relative and confidant. But behind the walls of the isolated estate, the shadows of the past are darker than Mop imagined. The puzzles of the family history are not to be shared, but unearthed. With each revelation comes a new foreboding threat, and for Mop, the grave suspicion that discovering Auntie Liv's secrets is to become a prisoner of them. How well do we know the people we love? How well do we want to know them? Doesn't that sound amazing? I'm so excited about this. This is going to be definitely one of the thrillers that I read this summer, because there's an estate, there's mystery, and I'm honestly worried for Mop. Can you imagine being scared of your own aunt? Okay, next up, I got a little self-help. Anger. Anger is about just that, anger, and how to deal with it. Now, this is a female Buddhist monk that is writing this, and she comes at the emotion of anger from that perspective. I might seem all bubbly and happy on screen a lot of the time, and I mostly am that way, but I am quick to anger, and when I am angry, I can't see straight. I am a Taurus, so I see red, and I would love a little help on that front. So yeah, anger. Wish me luck, and wish Barry luck too. So the next book that I wanted to talk to you about is The Lifeboat by Charlotte Rogan. Now I'm so excited that I found this because Harriet Rosie mentioned how much she loved this book. This book follows an ocean liner that goes down in 1914. The ocean liner was carrying Grace and her husband Henry. Grace gets a seat on a lifeboat. I don't know if Henry gets in there at all, actually, but it follows the occupants of this lifeboat. And you know, 1914, class was a very big thing, and if you were lower class, you had to speak to someone of a higher class in a very certain way. Well, what happens when all of you are on a lifeboat together? You know, do these things stand or not? I imagine that they'd be tossed. You know, Harriet talked about how much she loved the characters and how the author got into the heads of all of these characters, and I am just thrilled that I found this. So yes, The Lifeboat for sure will be going down. Next is something I'm actually very surprised that I haven't read already, and it is The Book of Negroes by Lawrence Hill. This was so popular for so many years. You know, I think maybe it was the hype of this that just made me kind of bypass it, and now that I've read the blurb, I want to read it right away. This is about a woman named Aminata. She is sitting down to write the story of her life in London, England. Now, she was taken, kidnapped by white men when she lived in West Africa. She was 11 years old. She was taken and she was essentially enslaved right away. She was told to walk in line with these slaves to walk towards the sea. Once they reached the sea, they moved on. They got on this boat and moved to South Carolina. And she's put to work on an indigo plantation there. Now she survives all of this because she has skills as a midwife, and she becomes a midwife at this time, and that's what keeps her alive essentially. I want to know her story so badly. I'm sure that plenty of you have read this. Please let me know in the comments below what you thought of it. Don't give me any spoilers because I think of the lot of these books, I am most excited for the Book of Negroes. Okay, I have to, you know, toot my own horn a little bit here. I went to a library sale and I got The Woman in the Window for $2, and I know you're jealous and I don't blame you. This is about a woman who is basically a shut-in. She has agoraphobia and she just stays in her home. She will drink wine during the day and watch TV, and she also happens to spy on her neighbors. Now some new neighbors have moved in. I believe they have teenage daughters, and she sees something one day that she shouldn't see. It's very disturbing, and she starts to wonder what precisely she saw, and it haunts her essentially, and I desperately want to know what that is. Gillian Flynn gave it 2 thumbs up, and I'm very excited about it. So those are all of the books that I've picked up in the second half of April. I'm so excited about all of these. Now, when I'm filming this, it's not quite the end of April, and I have some books coming in from publishers, so I'll probably be doing another book haul at some point soon, but I'm so excited. Please let me know what you thought of the Book of Negroes. That's what I really want to know. Is it as good as I'm imagining it's going to be? I'm excited. I hope you guys are well. I'll talk to you later. Bye!